Hello and welcome back to the Football Chat podcast. It's episode 99 today, where we'll be breaking down the title race and discussing who we think will win it. Let's just start with the story so far for the title race. Then Arsenal have been sensational.
Yeah, really. They were a little faultless. Faultless until recently, but
Started to stumble, I'd say, slightly. A draw with Brentford, a loss to Everton.
Yeah.
That's crucial points they've dropped there.
But if we look at the season as a whole, they have been in impeccable form. They've been brilliant.
Just one loss in the league before then to Manchester United. That's quite a decent record, to be fair. And their only other blemish in the first half of the season was a draw to Newcastle and a draw to Southampton. So quite the impressive run up until about Christmas. Since then, they've been a little bit sloppy at the end of January and the start of February. So far, they haven't won in February.
Yeah,
and they've got Manchester City coming up, which is why we thought this is a good time to do this.
And in typical Arsenal fashion, they were 8 points clear at one point?
Yeah. Now there is just 3 points between them and Manchester City. If Man City win, if they were to win on Wednesday night...
if they win on Wednesday night, that is massive. But if they lose to City on Wednesday night...
Yeah.
Then
they've got City again later.
It's Arsenal fans, I hate to say it, but you thought you won't bottle it this year. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you think, though, that Manchester City's attention could lie elsewhere?
I definitely think it does. That is one thing that could benefit Arsenal. Obviously, Arsenal going for the Europa League, but
you can
equally they're lesser opposition, and that won't be their focus.
Mm-hmm.
But for City, as you said, what do they worry about more, the Premier League or the Champions League?
It'll be interesting to see.
In recent years, they've prioritised the Premier League and bottled the Champions League. Yeah,
just have a look at Manchester City so far. Then obviously we know about the struggles and the up and down form of the first half of the season. Now 2023's rolled around, they've dropped more points than Arsenal in this year. Yet everyone is talking about how Arsenal thrown the league away. I think the big difference was that FA Cup win.
Yeah,
Manchester City beat Arsenal in the FA Cup. That was huge, as people now have their first sort of glimpse at how good Arsenal and City are against each other.
Mentally testing for Arsenal, because when you lose to City, you look at it and go, "We've got to play City twice."
Since they've not won a game,
only 3 points. Yeah,
and they play City on Wednesday, so maybe that one loss has had a much bigger effect. Obviously, I think Everton playing them at that time was a tough thing to do, because obviously Sean Dyche had just come in, and we've seen already how he's managed. Yeah, we know Nuno Bounce hasn't, in fact, and Sean Dyche played the tactics superbly. I mean, we're recording on the Monday, so we don't know how they've gotten against Liverpool, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if they've somehow pulled off a massive result there.
Yeah,
that wouldn't surprise me. So, I think that they were, and that will annoy them that they threw away points at Everton, because that's definitely a winnable game.
And to be fair, the Brentford draw was down to refereeing error.
Well, yeah, but you can't...
You should realistically be in a better situation. You shouldn't be you should be beating
You can't just blame, the referees making mistakes. But there was a mistake there. That could ultimately cost could ultimately cost Arsenal 2 points, could ultimately cost them the league title. I mean, this weekend for VAR decisions has been atrocious. Now, it's a bit of a tangent, but we saw one in the Chelsea-West Ham game. If you tuned in and watched that live with us, you'd have seen us furious that Chelsea weren't awarded a penalty. Thomas Tuchel made a great save.
Get him in as a backup goalkeeper. Brilliant stop from him.
Yeah, certainly. And then we saw the same in Brighton, so there was a lot going on.
Controversy behind the fact that Mario Lemina was sent off.
There's a lot going on this weekend with officiating, and
refs,
I'm sure we will be doing a video in the next few weeks. Maybe even next episode might be about the standards of officiating.
Is a tier list
it would make sense to me. It's to be our biggest gripe. Yeah, that's what we've been saving. To be fair, that could be an interesting idea. If you've got any ideas for our 100th episode next Wednesday,
I'm sure we've also got a lot of guests that would happily come on for that one.
Yeah, I'm sure we would. It's just about availability, but. Yeah, so where we stand now, Arsenal 3 points clear at the top of the Premier League with a game in hand. It's a nice position to be in.
That's the thing. It's a really strange scenario we've got here, because, as you say, we've got Arsenal 3 points clear of Manchester City with a game in hand, and I'd probably say that the mood around Arsenal's camp is probably stronger than it is at City's.
Especially with everything going on right now surrounding Manchester City, because the allegations that were made in the week by the Premier League, it's been interesting.
Arsenal in that really comfortable position with a game in hand and 3 points clear. If they lose to City twice, that's gone. All of that's gone.
Yeah.
And that is the thing level. With those two having to play each other. The game at the Etihad and the game at the Emirates is going to be massive.
Yeah, certainly will. Another question then. Do you think Manchester United are in the title race? So they're 5 points behind Arsenal now. Arsenal do have 2 games in hand, but my argument would be that is City. If City and Arsenal were to draw twice this season and United put together a good run of form, there is absolutely no reason they couldn't be right up there.
And I look at it and go, Arsenal, City got to play each other twice. If those two draw to each other, United have only, looking at the top lot, I think they've only got to go to Chelsea.
So United have Liverpool in March.
Newcastle, Arsenal.
They play Newcastle in April, and they play Chelsea in April. Other than that, though, they've played United, they've played Arsenal, and they've played City twice.
That's the big two.
Who are probably your toughest games. They get to play Tottenham as well in April.
Yeah,
that's 3 points.
That's a
But yeah, they've got a really nice run in Manchester United. I think if anyone's going to make a good go of it, of fighting Arsenal or City,
imagine that. After the way the season started, losing 2-0 to Brighton, losing 4-0 to Brentford.
Everything with Ronaldo, and then it takes about Vegos to lead into the title.
And then Mark, it shows Marcus Rashford finds form. You bring in a world-class defensive midfielder in Casemiro. If United pull off probably the improbable,
only we could make a video about the title race instead of a video about can Manchester United actually pull it off. But yeah, United obviously Europa League in the week. Do you think they'll beat Barcelona? I mean, we are covering it live. Join us there.
So I won't do my proper prediction, but I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be close.
Yeah, fair enough. But if they get knocked out of Europe, they've got nothing to focus on bar that Carabao Cup final at the end of Feb.
And if you're telling United fans, look, if you lose to Barca, you'll be right up the sharp end.
United could do the treble, you know.
Oh, go on.
They've got West Ham in the quarter. They've got West Ham in the quarterfinals, with only really Manchester City and maybe Tottenham as the only other teams that could challenge them.
Our content, because we've gone from is it going to be City or Arsenal to can Man United win the quadruple?
They won the Europa,
yeah.
I don't think it's off the cards that United win everything.
But I think they'll lose to Newcastle in the Carabao Cup final.
Oh, interesting.
Look out for that in a couple of weeks. Really, Man United, the dark horses in every single. I think
they are because they've got the nicest fixture list. Yeah. If they dispatch of Barcelona, then it's only really Arsenal, I think, who can challenge them in the Europa League. Newcastle is a very much winnable game.
Also, imagine if Eddie Nketiah hadn't scored that goal at the Emirates, like in Arsenal United.
Yeah, well, United would be
right up there.
Another 2 points higher. They'd be level on points with City, and Arsenal would be on just 2 points out of City and United as well.
It's amazing how it's actually going to turn into a 3-horse. I think you've got to call it a 3-horse race.
I think so. I think United are there now. And if Newcastle...
Only 10 points out.
And I don't think Newcastle will win the title this year, but they're definitely in the conversation.
The whole place in Newcastle just erupt.
It would, yeah. It would be quite...
St James's Park would be flying.
Literally.
I think it's going to be... I think it's going to be really interesting. I do think City will top the league at one point. I don't know if they'll win it.
Controversial then. The next thing was what will happen next. So at the time of this goes out on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So tonight, Manchester City versus Arsenal. Where do you think that? How do you think that will plan out? Do you think City are going to beat Arsenal?
I mean, it's very this new system, easy to get caught out. Arsenal will want to, utilise that, and we know Pep could overthink big games.
Yeah, I mean, we've just seen them tear apart Aston Villa.
Equally, Villa won the second half.
1-0. Fair enough, but they did rest. City did pull off Haaland.
That's fine. That's not bad.
Yeah. Fair enough. But it'd be very interesting. Do you think this game on Wednesday could decide the title? If Arsenal win, have they wrapped it up? And if Manchester City win, are they favourites again?
If Arsenal win, they're 6 points clear with a game in hand.
Yeah.
Then they could go 9 points clear. Title's done at that point, because even if City then win the reverse...
game in hand against Everton, isn't it? Yeah, Wednesday the 1st of March.
Oh, that could be interesting.
Imagine they lose that, though. That would be... very interesting.
Whereas if City win, they're level on points. Man City are my favourites. Because if City win tonight, I think they will then win the reverse fixture. Because it's Man City. It's just what they do. They turn up when they need to. They'll get Aguero back.
Yeah. After this, though, Arsenal play Villa, Leicester, Everton, Bournemouth, Fulham, Palace, Leeds, Liverpool, West Ham, Southampton.
That is quite easy.
That is a doddle. They should win all of them.
Apart from maybe...
Maybe Fulham.
Yeah.
Liverpool, they'll batter.
Yeah.
And then that's between now and City again.
Yeah.
So it's a lovely run back to playing Manchester City.
City have still got to play Chelsea. Haven't City got Chelsea on the final day or the penultimate day?
Sorry?
City got Chelsea on the penultimate day.
Yeah, final week.
Yeah, that's
penultimate weekend.
Do you know what?
And
That's
on
a
the
tough
final
round.
day, yeah.
City still got to go to Brighton.
And obviously, City are already playing Champions League now.
Yeah.
Because, Arsenal won't start their Europa League campaign until March.
The ball is still in
16.
Arsenal's court.
Obviously, they've got the advantage in the league, so that has an impact.
I would be astonished if City do catch up.
Yeah.
Because I think
I don't think I'd be astonished though, because it's Man City and they have been so unstoppable the last few years. I don't know. I feel like City. It seems almost inevitable that City will catch Arsenal, but given Arsenal's standing in the league, I'd have some faith that Arsenal can pull this off.
Yeah, they might not bottle something for once.
Yeah, fair enough. In terms of who will win the 2022-23 Premier League title, then that's the big question, isn't it?
Man United.
Really?
No.
Manchester United.
I think Arsenal will have enough. I think the Gunners will hold on and they'll win the Premier League. And from a neutral point of view, it'll be brilliant because obviously it'll be nice to see someone else than cheating money club.
Oh, you really had them there. Good one, mate. I think Arsenal win the league as well.
Yeah.
They look quite good. Just a bit. They've been alright.
They're alright.
I do just fear that there is an impending capitulation for Arsenal. Like, imagine if after all this they end up outside the top 4.
Oh, hilarious though.
Because there's only 12 points in it.
Yeah.
Like, Arsenal played well this season, don't get me wrong,
nowhere.
but 10 points in 17 games.
Brighton could win the Conference League next year.
Well, you'd hope Chelsea do something in the last half of this season.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting race for the title.
It's going to be interesting, yeah.
Top 4.
On that topic of Europe, then, who do you think will get that? So, I would say the top 4 right now looks nailed.
Yeah.
Potentially Newcastle slipping out.
Yeah,
but it's going to take Chelsea improving because Tottenham aren't going to get Champions League football this year. No. But so the top 3, I'd say, are cemented.
Yes.
That will be Arsenal, City, United in some order, you would imagine.
I think it will be. I think it will be Arsenal, United, City.
Yeah. Okay. Who do you think will get 4th? Will it be Newcastle?
I think Newcastle United in big old 2024 3/4 will be in the Champions League.
Wow. Yeah, no, that would be pretty amazing. Especially if a English side, because Chelsea or Liverpool could still both go on to win it.
Yeah.
In which case,
I imagine Real Madrid rocking up at St James's Park.
The best thing to happen would be either United win the Europa League and get knocked out the top 4.
Yeah.
So they get a Champions League spot.
Yeah.
Chelsea or Liverpool win the Champions League, so they get a Champions League spot. And then 4 Champions League spots go to the league, and you have 6 English teams in the Champions League.
Including Newcastle and Pope.
Yeah, and then if an English side won the Conference League, West Ham, while not being in it, then you could have 3 in the Europa League as well.
Yeah.
And then you'd also have a Conference League entry, so you'd end up with 10 teams going into Europe.
But it's just weird to think that, like, if 5 years ago you told me that Fulham will be in Europe next season...
I mean, they won't. Chelsea are only 4 poins behind, and Brentford are a point behind them. They've got games in hand. Liverpool are 6 points behind with 3 games in hand. Ooh, why not?
They're absolutely rubbish.
But could they win the Champions League?
No.
I think they could do it against Real. If you haven't seen our video predicting those Champions League matchups, go watch that from 2 days
because
ago.
even if they beat Real, I don't think they beat. Apart from, I don't think they beat City. I don't think they beat Chelsea.
Yeah.
I don't think they beat.
Well, they've already played Chelsea twice now, haven't they?
Yeah, and drew both times, right?
Yeah, playing the other day. In terms of Liverpool's fixtures for the rest of the season, then they've only played 20 games. They've got Newcastle coming up next weekend.
Lose.
We've not
a chance.
well, this coming weekend. Sorry, they've just played the Merseyside derby, which we haven't seen the result of at the time of recording. They play United at the first weekend of March, which will probably be a TFC Live, so join us there. Yeah. They've got City first weekend of April, Arsenal second weekend of April, and then they play Tottenham at the end of April, and then they've got a lovely run-in of Brentford, Leicester, Villa, Southampton. I mean, that's
not a lovely run-in.
How's that not a lovely run-in? They will batter Villa. Leicester, they looked good against Tottenham last weekend, but other than that, nothing. And Southampton have just sacked their second manager of the season.
Tottenham as well, I was including that in their line.
Tottenham are dross.
I still think Tottenham can beat Liverpool.
I don't think so.
I think
Liverpool are 10 points behind Tottenham with 3 games in hand. 3 wins, they're a point behind them.
3 games in hand?
Yeah, because they've not played anything. This is the thing.
Liverpool fans throw their toys at the crowd. How bad they are. They haven't actually played any games.
They've not played any football. They've just not. So they're going to be fine.
Also, Brighton have got 2 games in hand on Tottenham.
Yes, they could go above them.
Brighton are going to be in Europe.
Brighton could catch up to Newcastle if Newcastle lose their game in hand.
Wow.
Interesting.
Still a lot to be decided.
De Zerbi's man played really well this season. There's a lot to look at. And then looking further down the table, Villa. Would you be happy with 11th as a Villa fan?
I want top 10.
Okay. Who do you see being knocked out of the top 10 though?
Liverpool.
Right. What are you on?
I think someone.
Brentford. You think Brentford will be knocked out of the top 10 by Aston Villa?
Yes.
Have you not seen how good Brentford have been this season?
Yeah, Villa are better.
I've just watched Villa get torn apart by Manchester City. I'm not condoning that.
Yeah, because Callum James is at centre half.
He's still going to be at centre half. He's not going to stop.
He's not. He's back there.
And then obviously, I think Palace now are safe. I think Leicester.
Oh yeah, sorry, relegation. Let's look at this one then.
Leicester are just about safe in 13th.
Yeah.
Forest. What would you say?
Forest are fine. Forest will be fine. Forest will not finish 14th.
Yeah, I think they'll go above probably Palace and Leicester, maybe Villa as well. Wolves are fine. Wolves play some really nice football.
I mean, they're down 10 minutes still.
So
Southampton.
Basically, we're leaving it as the bottom 5 then.
West Ham, Leeds, Everton, Bournemouth, Southampton. If I had to predict who's going down, Southampton, give up now. You're done.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but they've just sacked the greatest manager in history
by his
own accord.
That can get them out of this mess.
If you say Allardyce.
Allardyce.
You know, they've got a meeting with Jesse Marsh today.
Why?
So he might be announced as manager by the time this goes out.
Brain dead.
Why?
Because
Marsh played good stuff at Leeds. They just decided to pin him off after they bought his whole squad.
Why would you go and get a manager that's just been sacked from the Premier League for not keeping his team up?
But yeah, so Southampton we think are down. Bournemouth.
Gary O'Neill, right?
There's no hope they do anything.
He was caretaker manager. He was quality. But as soon as he signed that contract,
they got a draw against Newcastle, a draw against Nottingham Forest. They're getting some points, but they're not challenging anyone. They beat Everton. They're not picking up many wins. They beat Villa earlier in the season. That's the opening day, wasn't it? Yeah. Good.
I thought when Scott Parker won that, I thought Bournemouth were getting Europe.
Right. I don't think that says anything about Bournemouth, just about you being absolutely mental. And then 18th, I don't think Everton are going down. I think Sean Dyche is actually going to keep them up. I think Sean Dyche is working
Leeds,
wonders.
Big trouble.
Yeah. Why would you sack? I mean, right. You've just said Jesse Marsh would be a terrible appointment, but now you're saying
no. You don't want Jesse Marsh. No, the difference is Leeds. With Leeds,
calling him
right?
Jesse.
Yes, Jesse.
His name's Jesse, isn't it?
Right. Okay. So with him at Leeds, he built his squad. They were out of the relegation zone, and they were playing good football. No to sack him. Bring him to Southampton. It's not his team. He's not a relegation specialist because Southampton are already in the bottom. They need to go to a place like Tottenham and put 11 men behind the ball, get the 1-0 win on the counter, and the only man that can do that is Sam Allardyce.
Brilliant. Do you think West Ham are in danger of relegation?
Massive danger.
Interesting.
Yes, I got a point against Chelsea.
But I think West Ham have started to play a bit better recently, and they've got a good squad.
Have they?
Well, I mean, they beat Everton, they drew with Newcastle, they drew with Chelsea. They've got Tottenham next, then Forest. That should be 2 nice wins. United then in the FA Cup, which is a tournament they shouldn't really care about.
It's an automatic win.
They just are. They just lost 4-2 to Leicester.
Is it 4-2?
4-1, sorry.
I was going to say,
sorry, I got mixed up between their 4-2 loss to Man City. So this is what's so confusing. They just beat City 1-0, right? And then they lost 4-1 to Leicester. Before that, they beat Fulham 1-0. And they get 2 before that, they only lost to the top 2 currently. But in the start of Jan, they lost to Villa. Like, I don't get it.
So inconsistent.
But then a 4-0 win against Palace 3 days later.
Kevin Longley did play in that Arsenal game.
Right, okay, that's understandable. But they're just so up and down. Yeah. They've got AC Milan in the Champions League, which again, if you haven't seen our Champions League matchups
I don't know what the prediction
that'll be linked in the top right of the screen, so go check that out. I think I've plugged that enough now that everyone should have watched that 100 times. But yeah, what else there to discuss in the Premier League?
I don't know. I think Arsenal for the title, United, City, and Newcastle for Champions League.
You think Newcastle will hold on?
Yeah, and then Southampton, Bournemouth, and Leeds to go down.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much agreed. I like unless Leeds go and get. I mean, everyone's rejecting them. They're going to end up Marsh again. He's the only one that's going to say right now. Stop saying Sam Allardyce
or Tony Pulis.
No, but yeah. I think that's a good Premier League roundup discussion. Make sure if you've enjoyed this to leave a like. Subscribe as well. Get involved in the comment section down below. I want to hear from you guys. Who do you think will win the title race? Who do you think will get relegated? Who do you think will get Europe? All those sort of questions that we've been discussing on the show today. And most importantly of all, where do you think Aston Villa will finish? Because I think they're getting Europe, and that is a disgraceful take.
We're doing it.
But yeah, that is all for today. Thank you all very much for watching or listening, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.